Unbelievable. That was crazy. Oh my god.
I apologize.
Oh, no problem. No need at all to apologize.
Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
It's already going. The intro music is playing. I'm just letting these clowns know that things are going to get started in a second. For
Good.
Christ's sake.
And you can hear me well?
You sound fantastic.
All right, good.
Oh, God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, I got a fucking echo again. This always happens. Hold on, I got this motherfucker. Boom. I can't believe that shit took 30 minutes. That's unbelievable. We're both so shitty at this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. I'm less shitty than you, though. That's for fucking sure, and you know it.
You have a lot more practice now.
Yeah, well, I have tons of practice, I guess, but that's no excuse. Anyway, you have to move a little bit to I think you're right, because you're cut a little bit. Boom, beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Internet. Oh, my God. I thought last week was bad. This week was crazy because, usually I have the assistance of Rixta and Rip to help me with these audio issues. And look at the way this guy's drinking that drink. Like, oh, man, so smug. Oh, Jimmy had some trouble, but we got it sorted out. I have some experience with the internet, so I got it sorted out. It took 30 minutes, but we're here. Okay, finally made it. Jimmy, thank you for coming on the show. I gotta regain my composure here because that was a little bit, frustrating. But before we get to the big reason I want to talk to you, because it's not like we're here to just fucking have a tickling competition. You were recently in Korea to participate in the global championships for Tekken Tag 2, in which all types of amazing players attended. It happened to be one of the most entertaining and big Tekken tournaments to date for this game especially, and you got 5th. Am I right?
Yeah.
Congratulations. True. Not bad, not bad at all.
All right.
Not too shabby. But before we get to all that shit, there's a couple of things that I just, recently have transpired that I think are worth mentioning. And then I want to hear all about that shit. So if you have any interest in these, I'm sure you will in the second topic. Just feel free to chime in whenever you're ready.
Sure.
Okay, so anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention is they recently, thanks to Flying Wonky's post, they recently announced that there's going to be a beta version or a beta test of the new Soul Calibur Lost, whatever the fuck it's called, game. You could see the post on the screen right now. I don't know much about this game, but I'll tell you this. The fact that they're doing a beta test like this says that at least somebody somewhere on the planet who's making this game cares about it. That's what that tells me. So it could be something interesting. It's supposed to be a free-to-play game. It's supposed to be whatever it's supposed to be, I hope it's good. Because at this point, I think these fighting game franchises need a little bit of assistance, need a little nudge, and perhaps they'll be able to scoop up a new demographic of, first of all, cheapskates that doesn't want to pay for games, and second of all, fans of maybe RPG-ish style single-player collecting and looting types of games. So if you're interested in that, check that out. I have to say I'm slightly interested, a little bit more interested now that I heard about this beta test thing. Jimmy, I presume you don't give a fuck about it. I mean, let's face it, I really don't that much either. So I'm with you, but I probably will try it just because I'm interested in the Soul Calibur franchise. All that being said and done, next thing I wanted to mention was the Master Cup videos, which I'm sure I'm going to fuck up now because I'm going to get an echo in this next bullshit. Boom. Handled it. So, Wonky has put up a shitload of replays from the Master Cup 7-on-7 and that big tournament that recently happened. Yeah. I myself have not been able to watch them, so this is going to be an excellent way for me to catch up. And anyone else who's interested, this is like one of the events of this game's like life. So if you're really a big fan of Tekken, I mean, you definitely should check this out. Do you have anything else to add on this? Have you watched any of this, Jimmy J?
Yeah, I watched almost all of it live. because it fits with my sleeping schedule anyway. So,
Perfect.
yeah, and then the 7-on-7 I even watched live like the day afterwards.
Nice.
Also, what was it? It was Nobi versus Knee right afterwards
Yeah,
for
I
True
saw that.
Tekken God Demotion.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it. Don't spoil
All right,
it.
all right. But Master Cup this year was the finals. The finals weren't as intense with Pecos's
Yeah, that was hardcore.
reverse OCB. Yeah, yeah. The grand finals this year round wasn't that intense, but I mean the tournament overall was nice.
Okay, yeah, I mean they always pull through really good match replays. I mean that's such
want
a
me to
huge
spoil
tournament. I don't want you to spoil it. Don't spoil
Anything? Anything?
it. Okay, spoil it.
All right, fine. Well,
No,
Nobi-
don't spoil it. Okay, fucking spoil it. Spoil it, you piece of shit. That sounds like some
Yeah.
Jewish word. Would you
this
spoil it already?
Anyway, this is probably the biggest moment of the tournament, the single biggest moment that changed everything. It was when Nobi fought Qdons. Qdons was their anchor, and Nobi was I think third or second or something like that. And Nobi was about to do the match-ending combo, would have ended the whole thing because Qdons is last. And then he drops it. Qdons comes back and beats everyone else, and they go on to win the tournament. Spoilers.
You son of a bitch. I
said
said
to
spoil it. I didn't say spoil it. What are you, retarded? Anyway, that's dope. I really am looking forward to watching the videos myself, and the True Tekken God match also. I don't know how that goes. Please don't spoil that. But that's legit. I suggest everyone check that out. And big thanks to Flying Wonky. He's always on point with the Japanese videos and whatnot. And all that being said, that was pretty much what's the big news, at least as far as Tekken goes. But again, I want to remind everyone, November 20th, Soul Calibur 2 HD Online is coming out on that day for PlayStation, whatever the fuck it's called, and Xbox, whatever the fuck it's called. And I have to say that I saw the newest trailer for that game, which is a match. All these matches are totally colluded, by the way. But this match between an Ivy player and the Nightmare player, which I don't really give a fuck about. But the cool thing about this trailer is it shows the cathedral stage in that game. And I gotta say, in high definition, that shit looks muy bagusta. It is beautiful. I mean, that's one of my favorite stages in that game. So I just read someone say, spoiler alert. Anyway, so yeah, that shit looks really cool to me. I'm getting excited. It's very close to being released, so that's... I'm going to say that from now on. That's the problem, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's cool. That's what I'm into. Now let's get down to it, dude. All this shit happened. You couldn't make it on the show last week because you were busy playing Tekken. I want you to seriously, without leaving out details, walk me through the trip. I'm even interested in the parts that you may not even be interested in talking about, like perhaps how the booking and flight process went, because it's all a factor. You tell me how many days you went for, everything. Start from the top.
Start from the beginning, huh? All right, so from the very beginning, they booked my flight about 2-3 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
And that was kind of worrisome to begin with, because I qualified 2 months ago, and they booked it 3 or 2 weeks beforehand. They were like, "Is this okay? Is this schedule okay?" And the schedule was that I were to leave Thursday, get there Friday, tournament on Saturday, and come back Sunday. And I kind of had to say okay, because we only had 3 or 2 more weeks left until the actual tournament. I didn't really think I had a choice to stay any longer. So.
Oh, really? I highly doubt that. You could have stayed longer if you wanted, right? I'm sure it would have been on your dime, but they would have accommodated that. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Or a 4 times in a lifetime opportunity for you.
Yeah. But
yeah, but that's close to 1. 4 is close to 1.
It's close. But if I would have just stayed an hour or 2 later, I would have gone to Green Arcade, because the very last day, I'm jumping back and forth from the beginning.
That's all right. Go ahead.
But on the very last day, if there are 2 groups after we all checked out on Sunday. There were 2 groups. One that went to the airport to leave, and I was in that group. And the second group was to go to the airport and take a taxi from there or train or something to Green Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if I were to stay like 2 or 3 hours longer, I would have at least visited Green Arcade, which is all I wanted to do to begin with.
I'm really
But they
surprised that you didn't ask to stay longer.
I kind of felt like I had no choice, really.
But okay. Now, you know you're a very mild-mannered kind of a guy. You probably could have, right? In hindsight, do you wish you did?
Maybe. I don't really think about it.
Okay.
I didn't mind. I honestly didn't mind.
Okay, well, either way, hopefully I'm sure you'll get another opportunity to visit Korea and, et cetera, et cetera. But tell me more about the trip. Okay, so your schedule was a little fucked up.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But at least it was a straight flight, no layovers or anything. It was about 12 hours or so. And I didn't really understand how I passed the time. I kind of just like started passing out, like falling asleep over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden I was there, which is funny because I didn't do anything else except eat really shitty airport food.
What'd they have, dude?
Airplane food?
Chicken, whatever.
It's pretty bad.
I forgot what it's called.
It's nothing to talk about.
Gefilte fish? That's what I was trying to think
What is
of.
that?
That's a joke from Rush Hour. Anyway, go on.
I get to the airport. I see the guys with the big Tekken Global sign, and I go up to them.
Nice.
And then one of them takes me to the Hyatt, where the venue is, which is like 5 minutes away.
Nice.
And
it's not like Japan where you have to travel another 2
no,
hours
from
an hour
on
a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. Okay, that's convenient.
On a boat?
A gondola ride and shit.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So I get there, and then I get to my room. I get to my room, and nobody's in there yet, but I see like somebody's left like a passport, and I pretty much get to see who I'm rooming with. I didn't look at the passport, but I mean,
rummage through his personal belongings, tried on all his clothes.
Very sneaky. Yeah, so I knew I had a roommate.
Good strat.
So I stayed in there, and I noticed I had an ashtray too.
Nice.
So it was a smoking room.
Nice. Okay.
Smoking room. And then I'm chilling watching Korean TV. I guess it was Korean dub of something. I forgot what. I watched a lot of Simpsons. It wasn't Korean dubbed, but it was like Korean subbed. So it's still all right.
Yeah, why not?
So I passed some time, and by now it's like 4-5 p.m. Friday in Korea.
Now, forgive me for interrupting. Did you at this point know exactly who your roommate was? You must have, right?
No. I'm getting there.
Okay. Forgive me.
So let's see. After that, it was like 4:30 p.m. Friday in my room, and then sooner or later my roommate and someone else shows up, and I find out my roommate is Taiwan, and
the whole country. Wow.
The Taiwan guy. His name was Snake.
What was his name is what I'm getting at. My roommate is Taiwan. Did you guys have to share a bed? North-south position with Taiwan?
We had 2 beds. Anyway.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, he shows up with Singapore's ZF. Yeah, I think his name is ZF.
Okay,
okay. And it turned out it was ZF that left his passport on the table. But anyway, I roomed with Taiwan, and it was funny because we were both smokers, and we seemed to be the only ones with a smoking room. In fact, throughout the whole weekend, people came to our room to smoke because it was
just by chance, huh?
Yeah, just by chance.
That's a miracle. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, people came to our room to smoke because it was closer than the lobby.
Nice.
So it pretty much smelled like smoke the whole weekend.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's a smoking room. They put an ashtray in there,
And Taiwan Snake was really cool, actually. And his English was surprisingly good. Like even his sentence structure, which is funny considering like when I asked him where he learned English, he was like, I just watch HBO.
HBO. Like pissed and shit. Okay. All right. Well, remind me I don't remember their names or the countries they're from, but I remember the characters they used. So tell me what characters did he use?
Taiwan's Snake used Heihachi Armor King.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the other Heihachi Armor King.
Okay, gotcha.
From JDCR.
Okay, so
And
go on. You guys reunited with your roommates and whatnot. Then
yeah,
what's the next step? How did your trip in Korea go from there?
from there um from there we were just chilling, and then um they asked me if I want to go play Tekken because Australia had a setup, and then we went up to Australia's room and we played, and then soon enough, everyone from the tournament showed up in that room, including like
Wow.
Japan and Korea, and then we were pretty much passing time.
What did it
Passing time.
smell like in there with all those different countries in there? It must
To
have
be
been
honest,
crazy, like a Neapolitan ice cream or something.
my sense of smell is pretty bad, so I don't know what to tell you really. But
Okay, okay. Maybe it smelled like something good. Who knows?
yeah,
Bulgogi.
who knows? Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
but
okay. Go on. So what type of games they had a set up on console then?
we had one setup and like 20 people.
And what controllers were you using?
Oh, well, I mean, we all had Japanese stick. I mean, of course, we're all going to use Japanese stick. All of us qualified on Japanese sticks.
Right,
aside
but
from
I didn't
Korean.
know that you guys took console
Oh,
controllers. It's an
well,
arcade tournament.
Australia did, I
Ah,
guess.
okay. See,
I
that's
guess it
what
was
I'm getting
Australia.
at.
I'm not quite sure if it was theirs. It was their room for sure.
Okay, you didn't take a
No,
arcade stick.
no,
Obviously
I thought
not.
there was no reason.
Right, obviously not. That's why I was wondering where the fuck you guys got these controllers. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. What
which
kind
is
of
funny because
control?
I'll get
Go
back to
ahead.
that later.
Okay, okay. What kind of controllers, out of curiosity, were they gonna be? What did they use?
One of them had the Tekken Tag 2 yellow, and the faceplate is like a broken glass, I
Yeah, the
guess.
Mad Catz one.
Yeah, the
Uh
Mad
huh.
Catz Tekken Tag 2 one,
Okay.
and that one I didn't like very much.
Okay.
The other one was what was the other one? I can't
I
remember.
I just find it interesting hearing what other people use from other countries.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
anyway, okay, you can't
we
remember.
don't
Go
even know
on.
which country that is.
Oh yeah,
That
well,
one,
okay. We assumed it was Australia because of their room. There's a lot
yeah.
of deductive reasoning here going on, but go on, go
It
on.
it definitely wasn't their PS3. I found out later.
Okay, well,
Um,
hopefully its rightful owner got the PS3.
yeah. So afterwards, yeah, we were pretty much passing time until orientation. Orientation was around like 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. rolls around, and then we gather and we have this. That orientation lasted for like 3 hours or something. It was
Do
crazy
you remember the
because
orientation for the global tournament we went to for Tekken 6 where
no,
they had
I
us
do
eating that
remember. I
box
remember.
thing?
I forgot who you were trying to like money match, and then you busted out your wallet, and you're like, I only look poor. I remember that. I forgot who you were like challenging.
Oh, I miss those days, dude. I miss having money. Oh man, who was that? I think it was
I
Genius. You know, because me
was
and
it
that guy used to
Genius?
talk a lot of shit to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, I remember.
You know?
It's funny because whenever you guys see each other, you just start cussing at each other
Yeah,
'cause
he's dope,
for the
man.
sake
He's
of
very
cussing.
good
Yeah, for
at
the sake of
it.
cussing, it's really funny, actually.
Yeah, he's very talented at talking shit. But anyway, yeah, I can imagine a Namco arranged orientation would be out of control, boring and long, like the one in
Yeah,
Japan. So it was similar then.
yeah, definitely similar.
Okay.
The food was similar too.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's
So
pretty much just a
shitty.
big buffet and stuff.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. And speaking of which, I didn't really spend a dime on food the whole weekend.
Okay, Namco pulling through.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay,
yeah.
go on.
Um, I spent pretty much $40 the whole weekend, and that was
Wow.
all in cigarettes.
You didn't
The
buy
whole
any
weekend.
souvenirs?
I, well, I mean, I didn't really have a chance to.
Yeah, I guess they had you going in and out.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Did they have any dope kinds of cigarettes that I don't know about? I mean, because
Um,
we're into that crazy shit.
yeah, I kind of took a chance with this Lucky Strike Click and Roll Fresh menthol thing.
Ooh, that sounds some year
No, the
2000
boxes
shit.
looked really cool.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
yeah.
Uh huh.
The
Okay.
boxes looked really cool. I bought a duty-free carton of that at
Nice.
the airport
Okay.
when I was leaving. But anyway, back to the orientation.
Go
I
on.
think the orientation lasted for a while because, I mean, Nin was pretty much the head of the orientation, and then he was explaining all the rules and stuff, and then of course he has to be translated in English, and then I don't know how the Japanese understood it, and then I don't know. I don't really know what happened after that.
Tight.
But that's kind of why it took so long, and also we had to like draw for the brackets that day,
Really?
that orientation, yeah.
What was the
And then we had
method of drawing for the brackets?
um. I remember it was really, really extensive
Drawing
for no
straws
reason.
or some shit out of someone's
No,
hand?
it was so extensive for no reason. I remember thinking that much.
Okay, well, who gives a fuck? Anyway, moving
Yeah.
on. How to get? Well, where'd it go from there? This is Friday,
Um,
right?
this is Friday.
Okay.
This is Friday. After, I guess after orientation. Um, I think we go back to Australia's room. I can't remember, actually. We go back to Australia's room for a while.
Let me ask
And
you
then,
this: at this point in the trip, are you what are you thinking about? Are you scouting your opponents? Are you
oh, I'm
sandbagging?
definitely noticing a bunch of sandbagging going on.
Oh,
That's
okay. This is what I'm
for
fucking
sure.
asking about. I don't give a shit about the. Well, anyway, go on. Drawing straws. Tell me tell me about the strategic approach you had to this world tournament. And
I, I, def-
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I definitely thought about everyone's main characters and how I saw so little of them. I mean, mostly no one played their main characters,
Mm-hmm.
so it seemed like. And um, yeah, like for example, AK, the only time he played Lon Paul was the tournament.
Really?
Even casuals afterwards and beforehand and everything, he would play different characters.
Okay. And yourself? Did you play your mains?
Um, I did, but not too much.
Okay.
I also played like King Steve and like Ancient Ogre Alex
Gotcha.
and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot.
Sending a message.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone was doing it. Um, let's see. After that,
Did you have
yeah, I
like
mean,
a strategy going into the tournament? Obviously, this is a rare occasion where you know exactly what characters you could possibly face. Like
yeah.
you have a list in front of you of the only characters you need to care about. In training for the world tournament, how did you approach the whole process?
Um, nothing all that specifically, but like I said, I did keep in mind every character that was being used.
Hmm.
Obviously, taking note of the weird ones. The weird ones being like the Lay Ogre guy from Hong Kong,
Yeah.
who was the first person I had to play coincidentally.
Oh, really?
And
That wasn't on stream then, right?
that wasn't on stream. No,
Oh,
that was the
okay.
very first match of our group.
And those matches that were not on stream, were they captured anywhere?
I want to say no, actually. It didn't seem
Bummer.
like they had a method to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, though. For the Tekken 6 global tournament, if I recall correctly, they captured 4 stations at the same time. So I assumed that they would be capturing more than one. But all right, whatever, whatever. Moving
Yeah.
on. So tell me more. Okay, proceed.
Let's see. Yeah, like keeping note of the weird characters like Lay Ogre, for example. Um, there weren't that many weird characters, and there's some characters that were like omitted that were a little surprising. Like no Kazuya Devil Jin, one Bruce, no Nina, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
I think one Bob actually. Um,
Yeah, the guy who won.
yeah, yeah, that guy.
Remember him?
Yeah, yeah.
So at this point in the tournament, you've been watching, you've been noticing sandbagging, but did you like pick up any tells? Did you feel like, oh, I really would fuck this guy up? I don't want to play this guy because Markman and Spooky were talking a lot about that. There was a lot of downtime for them to fill. So in that downtime, I think I recall them saying that you wanted to play against Saint over JDCR.
Yeah,
Is that correct? And is there any
yeah.
reasoning behind why?
I wanted to play Saint over JDCR and help me. Well, I mean, pretty much just because I've never played him. Like, I know I've played JDCR before. I played Help Me before, and if I had to pick between one of them, I'd rather chance it with Saints. I
Okay,
think, and that's what I was thinking when Markman asked me that specifically.
interesting.
Because at the orientation we were just it was like open seating. I was sitting next to Spooky and Markman,
Hmm.
and then me and Mark were talking about like that, for example, and stuff.
That's the end of the story. I thought this was going to
No,
be a new branch to this new
th-
story. I sat back. I sat back.
you know what?
Okay.
Never mind. Never mind.
No problemo. I'll take the driver's seat. So
Yeah, go
anyway,
ahead.
at this point, you said you played against that crazy opponent that you were thinking he's one of the weird guys, right? He was your
Yeah.
first round match. How did that go?
All right. So I guess we're on to the next days.
Or I guess
Um,
well, you tell me, man. You tell me what.
yeah. No. That's right. I mean, after orientation, I don't really remember what happened.
Okay. Did you get any sleep?
Actually, I didn't get too much sleep, but I didn't because of that, I didn't feel as not because of that, but I didn't feel as flustered as I did at Evo, where I didn't get much sleep, which
Okay.
I thought was really weird. I wasn't like jet lagged or anything either,
I think it
but
takes a day or two to even kick in the whole jet lag thing. At least that's been my experience. When you first get there, you're so fucking amped up, you know. It's like you got the energy, you know. You've been storing it this whole fucking time. Everyone knows.
yeah,
All right, that's cool. The format of the tournament was a little funky, right? A lot funkier than any tournaments I've played in recently. They did a
yeah,
round robin for pools, and then even
yes,
if you lost, your loss doesn't carry over for top eight, right? So
no,
it becomes a eight,
it's a seeding.
yeah, eight seeding into an 8-man double elimination brand new bracket. So your first
Yes,
match that you're talking about is a pools match, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so how did
it
that
is.
go? I want to know how that went.
All right, so in pools, okay, well, in pools we had me, Saints, Hong Kong Lay Ogre, China Asuka Lily, and also one more. It was Australian Horang Bek. That's what it was.
That guy was good. Go on.
Um, let's see. Yeah, first game was against Hong Kong's Lay Ogre, and he was playing really nervous. And this is another thing. I noticed that a lot of countries don't seem to have as much tournament experience.
Mm.
As in, like, you can definitely tell some of these countries were really, really nervous, like
For
playing, especially.
example,
What was that?
who? Like, how do you be specific?
I mean, just for example, like watching them play the other day before, even if they were their secondaries,
Hmm.
like you can definitely tell they could be playing better when tournament came around.
Okay,
Because,
interesting.
when I was playing Lay Ogre guy, he seemed really nervous about every single thing, and that didn't help him out because I think it was like 6-0, and we had to keep track of round count too, actually, because
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
decided, tiebreakers and stuff.
Right, right.
So I think I 6-0'd him. Actually, it was 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3
Bummer.
games per match. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so tell me this. This guy that you were playing against, and all these guys that you felt like didn't have the tournament nerves that you would expect players of this level to have. What do you
yeah.
think is the reasoning behind it? Why do you think that's the case?
I'm just thinking that's the case just because they don't have that many tournaments. I don't know.
You
I
didn't
don't know what the
inquire?
case. Um, I did ask the Hong Kong guy about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a guy from Boston, so he speaks perfect English. Um,
Poser. Okay.
he yeah, he just kind of shrugged it off, I guess. I don't know.
Tight. Sick. We're not getting any answers out of any of them. They're
Yeah,
zipped up tight. All right.
yeah.
So they didn't have as good a tournament nerves as you thought they would. Did you feel that way about all the countries, or just like for example, did you feel that way about the
Most.
Japanese?
No. Speaking of which, like Nobi AK happened that day, and they were in the same pool.
Mm-hmm.
Nobi AK, I watched that match personally because I mean, it was like a really old school, like tournament match. Everyone gathers around the
Yeah,
cabinets and
yeah.
stuff.
And it wasn't
It was like
recorded.
that.
Nobody ever
'Cause-
saw
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. That's
Uh-huh.
why we all had to like gather around the cabinets.
Yeah.
And then you know, trying to figure out who's the least tall so you can like watch over them.
Uh-huh.
And Nobi versus AK, just watching AK, like the way he played, physically the way he played, like he looked really confident. And then afterwards,
Nobi?
Nobi hurt. No.
AK.
AK.
Okay, okay.
AK. And Nobi afterwards even said he was nervous. So I think that was the deciding factor between that match. when I
Nerves,
watched.
huh?
Yeah, nerves. And the lack of nerves, I guess.
That's really
It's a
interesting.
combination, yeah.
I
A
can
combination of both.
imagine, obviously I can imagine AK being confident, but I haven't even talked to you about him yet. But I could imagine him being confident because he doesn't even give a fuck. He's got the biggest
Yeah,
balls on the planet. So
that's clear.
now that we're on the topic of AK, what are your thoughts on him as a player? I mean, how did you absorb that experience?
Well, I mean, it's hard to look at it from an objective standpoint.
But
like
don't be a
his play
bitch.
style.
He's a man just like everyone else. He
Yeah, well, I
he
mean,
fought hard.
No, he clearly did,
Uh-huh.
and whether he's like good or not is subjective, but you definitely can't doubt that he has heart and he plays with heart, and that's definitely something to respect.
You can't respect that because it's such a
You can.
bullshit saying. He fought with
not.
heart. Heart is
No.
not something that you. Heart is the
Confidence.
fucking loser on the Captain Planet show. That nobody wants heart. Everyone wants wind and fire. You can't fight with heart.
I think
Unquantifiable
you're just
field.
being picky about words.
No, well, yes, obviously, but my point is, you can't say he's not good, but he fought with heart or anything like that.
I didn't say he wasn't good.
I know you didn't say that. Don't get pissed. I'm saying, what do you mean? Like, elaborate. You know, like, to me, heart doesn't exist. I don't really think that that's he deserves more than that. Heart doesn't get you that far. Heart gets you second place in local. You know, heart doesn't get you that far, right?
All right.
I mean, what are your? I want you to. I want
Well,
you.
you got him really far. I don't know.
So you don't think? What? How do you feel about him in personally? You said it's subjective. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I didn't actually watch him play that much. Actually,
Okay.
it's funny too. Is like during top 8, by coincidence, I would always come up after him, and I had to like hide behind stage where I couldn't really see the match. I didn't even see those matches.
Really? Okay. What was
Yeah.
up with your 5 intros, by the way? What the hell
It's
was
just
that?
like rehearsal, and then there's like a sound issue. And that's what
Okay,
happened.
all right, interesting. All right, and how about moving on? One of the big criticisms that I've been hearing about was your attempts at Snake Edge. Do you have anything to elaborate on that?
I have a lot to elaborate
Oh,
on.
I would love to hear it.
All right. Well, let me first start off by saying that anyone that even remotely knows me knows that I'm very by the book, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And would rather not do things just for the sake of doing things. And
Right.
that being said, the way I see it, Snake Edge has a few uses. One of them being to use it from far away, thinking the opponent's gonna rush into it.
Mhm.
You can see Fang players, like even top level ones, like you from Tokyo,
Mm-hmm.
like no respect, doing like down back 4 from far away.
Right,
It's
right.
pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same concept.
Okay.
And this is especially good against characters that have a relatively hard time with punishing crouching staters,
Mhm.
seeing as how Snake Edge has surprisingly quick recovery on whiff. And this type of Snake Edge was, I think the second one I tried on Saint,
Mhm.
and my back was close to the wall, so I thought I'd rush in. Simple enough.
Okay.
And,
I mean,
and Ganryu would have a tough time running up and down forward 2ing anyway, and it's not like he can forward for 1+2 clap because that's the high. So yeah. That was the second one.
that is a better explanation than I could have expected. That's a relatively good explanation. I feel like everyone's giving you a hard time about it, but
Yeah,
as
I'm
someone
taking
who
this time to explain myself. Yeah.
Right, yeah. As someone who has been in the position in the past, I've said in the past that traveling to another country like that to face against the opposition is not easy on any part of the picture. Your skills, your mental state, your physical state, everything is just not at 100%. So I mean, that kind of a mistake is just indicative of a human being. It's like you just made a decision. And to be honest with you, the fact that you have an explanation like that's like, it's hard to argue with, though it's riskier than perhaps some may.
That one, that one didn't get me killed. First of all,
Right.
that Snake Edge.
Okay.
But,
Is there more to the tale?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Go on.
Like I said, Snake Edge has a few uses.
Okay.
Another use being catching raw tag, and it's a legit anti-raw tag that I kind of stole from Buriburi Maru from
Okay.
Osaka.
Mhm.
Because not only does it crush highs, but if done early enough, it crushes like high hitbox mids, particularly low jab, which is a popular tag cancel.
Of course.
And this loses to tag cancel low parry and to like an 8-frame lesser extent hop kick. But yeah, I mean you can't kill all the birds with one stone.
That's true. So what? Remind me what happened with this one.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I mean this kind of acts like an option select, especially where I use it against MMT at global. When I used it at MMT against global, like right after the soccer kick floated him,
Mhm.
and then I thought at that moment he was either going to stay on the ground or raw tag. So Snake Edge was either going to hit him on the ground or launch his teammate.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it turned out to be the right decision. So, yeah, that was another use of Snake Edge,
Okay.
and that was the last Snake Edge I did that weekend, I think.
Okay.
And
But
what?
go on. No. Proceed. I don't want to interrupt you. If there's more to the tale, I'm totally like.
Well, I mean, I did a
interested.
few more Snake Edges, so.
Yeah. Well. Okay. I mean, what do you feel like you took away from the experience, especially as far as a tournament player? This is a pretty big notch on your belt. do you feel like you performed up to your capabilities? Do you feel like you underperformed? How do you feel about that?
Personally,
Yeah, just totally
um,
personally.
I felt like I, of course, you always think you could do better, of course.
Right,
But
right.
in terms of how I was playing, I felt really, really good. Like everything came out, like 99% of the things I did came out because I wanted it to come out. I have no regrets about any of those snake edges, for example,
Right. Okay.
because I meant to do every single one of them. I
Right.
didn't fuck.
Active decision, bad
Yeah,
decision, but still could
yeah.
have been a perfect decision, and it would have been a totally different tale. No
Hi-
one would have been
Hindsight's
talking shit.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I felt really good about how I played, like in terms of getting out what I wanted and stuff like that.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if you give a fuck about my opinion, but I think you played better than I thought you would, but not as good as I think you can. You were like, I thought you wouldn't perform as well as you did because I had heard about your schedule being just boom, boom,
Oh
and I
yeah,
know
yeah,
about Namco. I've been there myself. I know about how that works. They take you to a fucking orientation and feed you all this funky ass octopus bullshit, and then
I
boom.
was, yeah, I was a little worried myself.
Yeah, yeah. So based on that, I thought maybe Jimmy's gonna have a rocky tournament, but you did great. I absolutely am proud of you. Congrats. You didn't win, which means you avoided getting an open mouthed kiss from me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
though that may be by design, maybe that's what those snake edge. That's another use for snake edge, huh? All right, all
Yeah,
right.
avoiding you.
Right, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Nicely done. My kisses are high, actually. So that's how that worked.
Mhm.
Okay, so tell me more about the players you played against. Who stood out as being like MVPs of the tournament? Obviously, you have JDCR and Saint. I was very impressed with Saint, but how about the people that maybe, it's a tournament and not everyone who's the best may be able to perform? As you mentioned, there's nerves involved. Who do you feel like is like the guy who didn't get the credit he deserves as being fucking good?
Um, I didn't play that many casuals with them, but there's the guy from Singapore, the same guy who showed up with Taiwan Snake into my room, ZF.
Hmm.
He, I played him in casuals, and he seemed a lot better in casuals than he did in tournament. He didn't make out of his group in tournament, and there's a few more of those. For example, Snake himself from Taiwan is definitely better than when he performed. I forgot what group he was in, but um, yeah. But for the most part, top eight made sense.
Okay, that's cool. No sneak attacks from somewhere you didn't expect. Like for example, AK. Were you surprised at his performance?
Simply because he had the pool of death. Yeah, I mean, he was in JDCR and Nobi's pool,
Hmm.
so we all kind of expected he would have a really hard time.
Yeah.
But he made it out because I mean, he beat Nobi and everyone else besides JDCR.
Yeah, that's interesting. He beat everyone besides JDCR, but he beat
Yeah,
Nobi, and Nobi couldn't
beat
get
Nobi.
in. Do you know
Yeah.
how Nobi did against everyone else?
Well, I mean, Nobi and JDCR's match was on stream.
Right.
Um, yeah, but everyone else, I don't know. I didn't watch it because I was too busy with playing my group. We had
Right.
like obviously different groups of cabinets everywhere.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that all those matches just went like, just like the old days. They're gone.
Yeah.
We're never
You have
gonna
to
see
be
them.
there. Yeah.
That's crazy. Did you happen to get other players at the tournament's opinions on AK? Because I'm really curious what more players think about him. Like maybe the Koreans.
No, we all pretty much think the same thing. That I mean, he's really gutsy. That's for sure. With double flip kick, 1+2 throw mix up.
Uh huh.
We all pretty much thought the same thing.
So if you guys can, I'm just gonna be honest. If you guys all come to that conclusion, right, that he's just really gutsy, he plays with heart, and et cetera, et cetera, what does that tell you about Tekken Tag 2? I just want to. This is the next question that came to my mind. I mean, if you guys genuinely, JDCRs and Saints and Mr. Napses and Nobis all genuinely feel that way about him, then what does that tell you about the game? Because I don't know if just heart and guts can get you to that top 8 in the world position amongst just the beasts. Like these are beasts. To me, in my experience in fighting games, I feel like guts and balls and heart are not enough to get you in a game like this that far. Such a technical and deep, big game. What does that tell you? How could that be? Do you have an explanation? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is the question that came to my mind. What do you deduce from this?
You also have to keep in mind it's only been one tournament.
Correct.
If you're judging from AK. And
Okay.
as far as
One
what it
tournament's
speaks for
quite a tournament, with especially one one ran in the way this one was ran. Round robins for pools, and then your loss gets replaced is pretty like a good tournament to wager. Better tournament to wager skill on than a lot like SBO, for example.
But as far as what it speaks about the game, I don't think it's necessarily the game that is at fault. It's not at fault, but it's not because of the game that AK won all the matches he did win.
Okay, and I don't think so either. I think that he won because he's good enough. I think he's good. I think it showed that he has skills that I'm surprised someone of his age can have. Are you aware of how long he's been playing?
AK?
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm not.
Because someone I overheard told me that he has been playing for a long time, like from a very young age, maybe 4 or 5. I don't, who the fuck knows. But to me, some of the things he was doing was like, okay, he knows how to play Tekken. He was baiting tag crash. He was punishing well. He was, I don't know, advanced tactics. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I kind of got to this point where it just fizzles, and the facts. You're right. It's just one tournament. We haven't seen him. It's really hard to argue against beating Help Me 2 times and Nobi 1 time. That's fucking hard to argue against. But anyway, moving on. Is there any other? What else? Walk me through the rest of the tournament. So you're in pools now. How did the rest go? Any notable stories?
Yeah, I almost lost to Marimo, the Australian Hwarang Baek. I almost lost to him because what happened? What was it? He had definitely had me at match point. I remember that much. After that, he made some bad decisions like obvious tag crash and kind of just died.
Okay. He had a close one. I watched his matches. I thought it was impressive.
It was really close. After that, the other 2 matches was on stream. Like I played against Saint. I played against Saint and I won the first game, and then I lost the next game, and then I played Chinese Oscar Lily. That was on stream. Like
yeah,
pretty
that
much
was
right after.
Beatdown City.
Yeah, me playing against the Hong Kong guy was even worse.
Man, you could have beaten Saint. I was yelling at my fucking
I had that
computer,
match point.
dude.
I mean, it was really close. It was
I
definitely
was
closer than I
yelling
thought.
at my fucking computer, man. It was so much closer than you thought.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Oh yeah, back to the snake edges.
Yeah.
I mean, I did more than just one. I did a total of 3 of them, I think, against Saint, just in 3 matches or 3 games. Well, yeah. Well, another use. I guess in this day and age, Ganryu is less and less known. So I mean, there's some people that didn't even know he had like down forward 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. But in any case, another use of snake edge is crushing highs, and I think this was both my first and third snake edge's intention, because throughout the match you can see me struggling with Brian trying to duck Ganryu's down forward 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and launch. You can see me struggling.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's a guess of where he's gonna stop that jab, and he can go up to 5.
Right.
So. I mean, I can't believe I even tried to do that.
Right, yeah, I was just about to ask you that next. Would you recommend that, or would you recommend playing it safe?
Depending on which character you're playing. I mean, if you have a really good full crouch move that naturally crushes highs, like I was just gonna say, on top of that, Brian's while staying launchers don't naturally crush highs.
Right, precisely.
Like let's say Bob, for example. Bob
Easy
doesn't have
money.
to care as much. Yeah.
Okay,
with
okay.
his spinach upper, and then I just want to make a hard read to go under the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 after blocking Ganryu's down forward 2. And then some people wondered why I didn't go for punch parry or just low jab to punish the down forward 2 instead. And it's simple. I just wanted to make a hard read. Like with higher reward
Yeah.
comes higher risk.
That's the
So
decision. I mean,
that was my decision. That was my decision.
right. And it's not their fucking decision either. Everyone else has a backseat quarterback or whatever the fuck they call it, armchair driver or whatever. Everyone's got their opinion, but basically they can all go fuck themselves because you got fifth in the world tournament and they didn't.
They didn't.
Yeah, so fuck off. Basically, is what the.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? That's tight. Okay, moving on. So at this point, you played against Saint. How's the tournament going for you? What are you observing? Proceed.
After that, the tournament, I finished my group the first, I think, and then after that, I had to wait around for like 3-4 hours.
Jeez, that's
Just like walking around, chilling, watching other matches and stuff.
Yeah, that's
what
the
I was
moment that's when all the smoking cigarettes happens. You know?
Yeah.
I know.
It is.
Okay. So you get to the top 8. You know who the top 8 is. Did you know who your first match was right away?
Right away, I didn't know who it was, but I later found out it was MMT.
Okay.
Because MMT had actually made it out first place in his group. His group was the group that had Kagemaru in it, and Kagemaru he beat actually. I didn't see it, but he beat Kagemaru, and Kagemaru made it out in the second place spot, I guess.
Okay.
So just by seeding, since I got second because I lost to Saint, because I got second in mine, and MMT got first in his, we were matched up.
Okay, and MMT is the remind me what characters?
The Australian King Armor King.
Oh, yes. Okay, got you. And so tell me about your match with him. I'm sure it was up, and I watched it, but remind me.
Yeah, that match was really shaky because he had this weird timing of where he would just throw out jabs like to, I guess, counteract my frame advantage. He just had this weird timing about it that kind of threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole match was kind of shaky. I remember thinking that much, and then I don't know if you remember the match, but the most notable thing is the ending.
You have to remind me.
The ending was where he makes me block capital punishment, and then he hop kicks me, and then he TAs. But I asked him afterwards because he was worried about the sidewall. He ended it super early and ended up dropping it, and he dropped the combo. And then I just like with Dragunov, I just got up and down back 3'd him because I needed to tag.
Right.
And I hit him.
You got
and then
counter
he just
hit?
Normal hit.
Okay.
No, I just wanted a knockdown. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I tagged in Brian, and he stayed on the ground because I guess he wanted to wait it out. And then at this point, I'm kind of close to dying, and he kind of is too. And then I run up to him, I soccer kick him, it floats him, and then like I said earlier, I knew he was going to stay on the ground or tag, so snake edge was the perfect option. He tagged in his teammate, he got snake edged, and I won. That was the last round.
Okay. I watched the match.
That was final round. Yeah, that was final round too.
Final round?
Final round.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. So were you shitting yourself at that point? And was he?
It was funny because like as I was doing the snake edge combo, you think to yourself, don't drop it.
Yeah, I know that. I know that all too well. That's all I say. I say that when I'm walking around in the streets. I say it so often. Go on.
Yeah. So as I was doing the combo, and I was also thinking to myself, if I just do the opposite, like Brian's new forward 4-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, forward 4-1, which is really helpful for so many reasons. But in this context, it's really helpful because it serves as an option select for when you miss forward 4 in your combo.
Right.
Because like one of the worst feelings in the world in Tekken 6 was getting forward 4, that shitty mid kick when you're trying to forward 4 to bound.
Yeah.
But now he has that, so I just did down back 2 jab.
That's cheap.
Forward 4-1 and mash on tag.
Because you can delay it, right?
No. Because if you do forward 4 too early, forward 4 comes out.
Right.
So if you just
you just see it and then push the 1 and it continues.
You just press it anyway.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you just press it anyway, and then.
So it truly is an option select. You do it every time. Interesting.
It's an option select for my own execution.
Very interesting.
I just reminded myself at that moment when I said, "Don't drop it." This would be the best option because I mean, I'll get a bound either way. He'll die.
Nice.
Etc.
Cool.
I kept that in mind, and yeah, I finished the combo.
Very interesting. It's so funny because if I was doing this interview like 10 years ago about Tekken Tag 1, could you imagine if the interviewee would have to take such a part of the interview out to talk about finishing the combo, Finish the combo, finish the combo. So I did an option select in the combo to make sure the combo. This is just for one combo. Think about how things have changed. You know, the combos are half a mini game in their own fucking selves. You know, it's like, do a little fucking puzzle as soon as you hit them with the successful launcher. So anyway, that's tight. Okay, so your next match.
Yeah, the next match was against JDCR.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you've played him in the past, so this is a rematch.
I played him in the past, but that was BR, and we kind of all know he's gotten even better since then.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first match, actually, I was up 2-0 round count. Because I remember second round, he did something really uncharacteristic. I hit him with down back 2 with Brian, and I just do forward 3 because I normally do forward 3. It's pretty much airtight. And he starts mashing and gets counter it and gives me the comeback combo. So that was a little uncharacteristic.
Maybe if he had
after
nerves.
after that, in terms of the match in general, playing against JDCR is like playing against a wall that moves backwards constantly.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty straightforward. It's super hard to hit him.
I could see that. Yeah, I could bet. His defense is crazy, and his confidence. All Korean players play confident, from the way I could see. But his is like a reverse confidence. Like it's just moving away from you and telling you you're not gonna beat it, as opposed to the other ones are just like in your face. You can't beat me. You know. Really interesting.
Even if you catch up to him, like in terms of distance, his fuzzy is really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to hit him even if you catch up to him.
Yeah, he activates the new style of defense where now you're in his range and he's going to start fuzzying everything. And yeah, he's legit, man.
He's super legit.
So, okay, at this point you had a few matches and you get 5th, and, you know, you're watching the tournament now, right? Like after you lost, how did you feel about your placing just right on the money at that moment? Were you disappointed in yourself, or were you thinking like, all right, you know, 5th place, I'll pray wrong? How did it feel to you?
I definitely felt like I wanted to play AKA at least, because I didn't play him the whole weekend.
Yeah.
That
would have been nice.
I didn't play him the whole weekend. I wanted to see how I'd do against the style too, because I think I do like playing against that type of style.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect style for you. I think it's the style that like you'd be able to do well against as well.
So I wanted to see how that would turn out, but it didn't end up that way. So I was a little bummed out about that in particular. But.
Yeah. Okay, so 5th place at this point. You're now a spectator. How did you feel about what transpired after that? Do you think that Saint... What do you think that came from? Saint versus JDCR? I mean, you know, it was kind of a beatdown.
After the tournament, I had to talk with Nin, and that was after, or maybe while we were waiting for Korean barbecue. It was Nin was talking about how he thinks Saint has JDCR figured out.
Really?
Yeah. Even before the match started, he thought Saint had JDCR figured out.
Interesting. And okay, so if Saint has JDCR figured out, then what my mind tells me is maybe it's just one of those scenarios where one guy beats another guy, but the other guy beats the other guy. You know, one of those triangles that we've known about all these years. But it seems to me like not only has Saint figured out JDCR, but he's figured a lot of other shit out. I mean, he's pretty fucking good against everyone, right? Do you feel do you feel like perhaps he's surpassed JDCR as a player in terms of skill level and clutch?
Well, you also can't, even though he didn't qualify, you also can't forget about Ni, and Ni has been talked about as, you know, one of, if not the best Tekken player right now. That's who Nin thinks is the best Tekken player right now.
Did Ni play in the qualifier that Saint won to get to the global?
Well, the qualifier Saint won was Tekken Strike itself.
Right. Yeah. Did Ni play in that?
He did, I think. I don't know who he lost to.
Yeah, I don't recall either, but I thought he did play in that. So, I mean, he is factored in, you know, to this equation. Saint had to go through him to get here.
I'm not sure about directly. I don't know if Ni lost to someone else.
Okay, yeah, perhaps not directly.
In Tekken Strike.
Right, yeah, that's what I was talking about too. Okay, but I mean, to me, I'm very impressed because the last hands-on experience I had, and I don't mean hands-on in any gay way, experience I had with those Korean guys was in Texas. And Saint really seemed like he even felt like he wasn't as good as JDCR, but he wanted to be as good as him. He seemed like he was thirsting for that booty, you know? And,
right.
he seems to have gotten, he quenched his thirst. He quenched his thirst with JDCR's booty, from what I can tell. Is that correct? I mean, do you get that vibe as well?
Maybe not in that way, but kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of the players that Saint loses to nowadays as well, and no one really comes to
Am I
mind.
right? That's the observation I've made too. It seems like Saint is just really on point lately, and I personally feel like that his win in Korea was very impressive. It's just a good showing of skill, and as I mentioned earlier, I think this tournament is among tournaments. It's designed in a way to produce a good player in a lot of different ways, not just the one game clutch Pekosu style player, but also, a player who can handle long situations, multiple opportunities. I thought it was a really interesting tournament. I also loved the way characters were locked, so going into the tournament, you knew who you were facing against. It was like, one of those movies. It was like one of those old movies, like The Quest with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Where who's going to be in there, or whatever the other one is, Bloodsport, the less cool one. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, that was a sick tournament, man, and that was tight. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. It was a lot of work, and there was a lot of fuck ups and downtime, but Spooky and Markman both did a pretty good job. I mean, considering the difficulties involved, I thought they did a really good job, and I'm so glad it was captured and streamed. Internet, I'm sure you guys can find it or have seen it at this point. Do you have anything else as far as your trip or the tournament goes that you want to add that you haven't mentioned?
Let's see.
I feel like there are an infinite amount of questions I could ask.
I know there's more. Let's see. Well, I mean, the trip itself, in total, I had a lot of fun. Even though I didn't get to see anything, and we only just stayed in the hotel the whole time, it was the people that made it super fun.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Tekken, you love Tekken, and that's what it's all about.
Countries. Yeah. A lot of a lot of interactions with other countries.
That's tight, man. I like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. Especially for just, staying the weekend. I still had a great time.
Yeah, you're like me too. Neither of us like traveling, especially overseas. So
yeah,
it can be kind of a bitch. But that's amazing, man. Congratulations again. I'm sure the entire internet agrees with me when they say that you performed very well. Despite a couple of interesting decisions, you performed exceptionally well. And I didn't even think you'd do that well. Like I said, I wanted you to do well, but I wouldn't have put money on you. And you did so well. So that's great shit. Very proud of you. Do you have someone to call a bitch? I totally forgot about this part.
Are we at that point now?
Unless you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, okay.
Well, I'm all ears, man. I feel like, what else could I ask you? I could ask you a billion things.
I guess looking at the chat, it seems to me like the people that saw my combos like during the tournament, they think I'm like trying to do stylish combos and everything. It doesn't make any sense. Nin told me the same thing. Like, he asked me about my combos, like why would you do such stylish combos, etc. And I was like, I think they're the best combos, and I think they're like practical enough to do. I think they're the best combos in terms of damage or Oki or maybe both. And
fuck you, man. That's such a Jimmy J. Tran statement. What do you mean stylish combos? That's how you optimize.
It is.
Listen, Nin, I think I know a thing or two about optimizing. All right, fuck off.
I was surprised when he asked me that. I thought he would appreciate it a little more.
Well, I knew.
Well, at least the same way I'm thinking about it.
Well, I think you've gone to a level of optimization, if that's a word, that has surpassed Nin. I believe. To me, when I'm watching you play, I know it's clear, but I know you as a person. You're not really a style on him kind of a person. You're a get the job done the best way possible kind of person.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see that that's what you're doing, especially after watching you play here in my home. But perhaps I don't know. Maybe I really can't explain. Nin would have to speak for himself. But Yeah, that's your shit, man. Now, as soon as I started talking to you when you came here for the qualifier, I knew that was your shit. Optimizing perfect combo for the perfect angle, and I noticed that you go for it. Like,
But
go on.
at the same time, you have to understand that I also have a line to draw where it's like impractical. I'm not
Of
going to do this
course,
combo.
of course.
I mean, I can actually do more damage with Brian Dragunov, but I've already come to the point where they're like impractical combos that I'm not going to do.
I think you make an we should stop and mention that. So everyone, I think, as a player, has their own line. And
Yeah,
that line is drawn by themselves. You look at yourself as a player, you look at your own execution, your own ability to
also the game
comprehend.
mechanics as well. The game mechanics sometimes it's just iffy.
Oh yes,
So
every
you
game
have
is
to,
different. Every game
yeah.
is different, and like for example, I myself really am. I struggle with link combos in Capcom games. I think link combos are really difficult, rhythm types of combos. But I'm slightly better at open Tekken style combos. And everyone's different. Everyone has to figure out in the game they're playing where their line is, and at that point make your judgment calls on, am I going to go for, the jet upper, taunt jet upper here, or am I not going to go for it? I feel like when you try things like that, it's not because you're trying to style on it. It's because this is the best thing to do in this situation, and you've practiced. You believe in yourself to be able to do it because you've done it. So I think that's something that every player on their own should examine and decide on. My bar, obviously, as a player, is far lower than your bar when it comes to combo malleability. I've said many times to you in our conversations that I don't even want to fucking think about that. I just want to do this same shit every time.
Yeah, I've seen your line as well. So I kind of understand where your line is too.
Yeah, and everyone has their own line.
Yeah.
And I think understanding this concept will tell Nin to fuck off, because your line is obviously higher than Nin's, perhaps, or even perhaps higher than Knees. Like, who knows? If these two guys are sucking each other's dicks all the times, maybe he's just not accustomed to someone who has the confidence in their execution that you have. So good shit. Is anything else you feel like adding at this point? I'm out of gas, so I really want to know what else you have to mention or say as far as your experience. But I don't really know where to go with it. What do you think? Did anything else happen? How was the bulgogi? Did you meet any Korean chicks? All that stuff.
The Korean barbecue was not that good, and
Really?
that was just because it was the only thing open to that hour, and we kind of just had to go there.
Oh, so
Not
it was
because
a
it was a good
shitty place. Everyone already agreed.
We
Like,
had,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
we
this
had
place
to
is
go
whatever.
to. But even then, no, of course it's good. It's just it's not as good as you expect.
It's no SoCal on the corner of Colima and Fullerton, I'm sure.
It was better than when we went after qualifiers, I think.
Oh, really?
Maybe a little bit. But,
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
You would still expect more.
I don't know, man. I had sushi when I was in Japan, and that shit was whack. That shit was whatever.
Sushi?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Well, okay. I've had it here, and I don't like it. I had it in Japan, and
Oh, well, if you don't like it here.
well, yeah, but you would assume it would be like 100 times better. So 100 times maybe one would be a lot. It'd be like 100, right?
All right.
This shit's still like 3. So anyway, unless you have a bitch or someone else to talk about, something else to talk about, feel free to call someone a bitch.
Well, okay, I don't really like the group bitch calling. I'm not really a big fan of that. But I'm gonna have to say everyone who questioned my snake edges are bitches.
I like that bitch calling, and yeah, I agree because don't ever question. I like that. Don't ever question.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
Thought. First of all, let me finish that thought. I mean, you guys had no idea about the context of it when context is like one of the most important things in a fighting game. I mean, on top of that, a lot of the same people in this group kind of have to learn to let people play the way they want to play. Like, I know I give people shit about combos but that's just because I think combos like concrete to a certain extent. Like, there are just some combos that are flat out better than others, like in every single way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to do shittier combos in every single way, right?
I agree.
But playstyle is way more abstract, and you have to let people rock. You have to let people do as they please. You can't be so critical about some decisions, right? Because I mean, some wrong decisions are only wrong in hindsight.
That's true.
Like my snake edges, my hard read snake edges against State, for example, it's only wrong in hindsight. If he did the 1-2-1-2-1 like I thought he would, then I mean,
You'd be a hero.
yeah,
You'd be
pretty
a
much.
hero. I mean, that's just the way it is, though. I mean, in the end, the internet is just you know, the other guy was thirsty for booty. The internet is thirsty for talking shit. You know, as soon as anything happens, it's the cat faces come out and they're ready to talk shit. So really, even the people that are criticizing you for the snake edges are kind of sucking your dick a little bit in the first place. You know, that's how you really should look at it, because they don't know what they're fucking talking about. They're a bunch of cat facing pieces of shit. You know, so fuck them.
With all that said, it also made me think about how like snake edge has this weird taboo or
Of course it does.
No, it's ironic because similar moves are being used. Like I mentioned earlier, Fang's down back 4, which is a frame slower than Snake Edge even.
Well,
and nobody really cares when Fangs do that.
Yeah, but you know, Fang's down back 4 is a lot better than Snake Edge in my opinion. Don't you think?
So?
I think it's better because it looks a lot harder to see.
I think it looks just as easy to see.
You really think that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's better. I don't know.
And same thing with Saint himself, who won global championships using Ganryu down back 2. Nobody really questions that move. And Saint does it all day long. So what's the deal with, you know?
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play the fifth. This is not my. You know what? I can't comment on it because what am I gonna say? You're right. I remember when Derek was using Brian in Tekken 6, and he would do, in the arcade, he would do Snake Edge accidentally, and he would apologize to his opponent and say, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, so, yeah, you're right. There is a taboo attached to Snake Edge.
It really is.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's so old. It's like
Maybe.
everyone knows it's called Snake Edge. It's an old ass fucking move. Brian's been around since Tekken 3, and people have been going all in just like you did for years. So people are just easily associating that move with talking shit, I guess. So whatever, fuck it. Who gives a shit? Either way, I'm very proud of you. I thought you did exceptionally well, as I mentioned a billion times.
Thank you.
I think that my bitch calling of the day is going to be you. Because you took so fucking long figuring out how to hook up your headphone.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much and I'm sure the rest of the internet appreciate you coming on here and telling us this story. But man, you are you are one of those, dude. It was crazy. Yeah, because you know the craziest thing about it really is that I felt like both of us were so close the whole time. It was right there it was right in front of us, and we just kept going for the snake edge, and boom, wrong decision.
That's only in hindsight, but this.
You're right. Hindsight, it could have been a good decision when we were trying to figure out the audio, and in hindsight, it was a bad decision. You're right. I can't really say that. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, internet. Let me think. Is there anything else I want to mention? Jimmy, are you going anywhere or doing anything? Any kind of plans or anything?
Not coming up, no.
Just keep playing on, right? Tekken is your thing still, right? Only game you're going to play.
I'll mess around with Ultra, I guess, when it comes out.
Ooh, okay. I think a lot of people will be interested in seeing that. I think everyone's going to tinker with it a little bit, dilly-dally a bit. Anyway, all right, cool. I think that went well. Internet, there are a couple sizes of T-shirts left. I shipped out every T-shirt that everyone's ordered, so it doesn't matter where you live, Taiwan, Egypt, all those places. You should have either received or should be getting your shirt within a week. There are a couple limited sizes left. If you guys are interested, check that out. And I don't mean to spoil this one for any of you, but we're out of here. Take it easy.